Hello, everyone, and welcome tonight to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail and friends. I am so glad that you are here tonight to meet my friend. My friend is Sharon Tillery. She is a health and wellness coach. She has worked with lipedema patients for several years with a doctor. She is no longer working in that clinic, but she has a lot of experience with lipedema patients. So, as we continue today, if there's any questions that you have for her, please make sure that you put those questions in the comments. Also, as we go along today, tell us where you're from. Let us have some, give us some loving. We need to keep the algorithm going. So, give us a thumbs up or this thing called a heart. Because we're bringing our hearts to you and you're bringing your hearts to me. There you go. And so, as we go along today through our conversation, please just make sure that you keep the chat lively if you can. Ask questions. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're coming from. So, with that said, I really truly want to introduce the amazing Sharon Tillery. She's a coach for Lipedema Simplified, and I've known her about a year and a half, maybe.
I
And
guess over here.
yeah, she's been
Yeah.
serving our community for about a year and a half now, and it's always exciting to talk to you. Hi, Sharon. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Gail. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm doing good. Is it hot where you are? Because it's getting hot over here.
Now, oh, is it hot where I am? No. We call
No.
it a friend of mine, a friend of mine today called it um instead of December called it Maycember. So here in the high desert state of Idaho, uh,
Yeah.
we're still it's we still have to wear hoodies and long pants and socks and stuff.
Oh,
You see me today in a tank top, which is a rarity for me, but I've been in the swim spa today, taking good care of myself.
okay.
And my Aunt Sandy, she has a swim spa now, and we climb into it when we can. And because of that, I put a tank top on um, as my shuffle, and I thought, you know what, I can do that because as a person with lipedema, I don't show my arms very often, and I'm trying really hard to learn to love my arms exposed. I mean, I love my arms, but I'm trying to love them exposed. I know every now and then we'll go, okay, let's see those arms, ladies. And we go like this, because we got to show our arms because they're
Mm-hmm.
big. And we have to say, you know what? I have lipedema in my arms too, just like you, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I have to stop being embarrassed about my arms and bring them because we always see pictures of legs, don't we? And
Yes.
and I think there was a statement recently that said 80% of us with lipedema also have it in our arms.
Yes.
And for
Yes.
me, sometimes it's the arms that hurt a lot more than my legs do. You
Wow.
know,
Wow.
especially, I mean, especially with getting my blood pressure taken,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Nice. Yeah, I heard that so much. So much. Working
Right.
with lipid patients, it had to take it on the risk.
Yeah.
On the wrist most times. Yeah, never the arms though. It was so
Yeah.
painful. Yeah.
So I've talked a lot already about myself, and I'm sorry, Sharon. This is I'm here
Okay.
today. I'm here today to introduce you. Um, so you're right. We do have pain in our arms to the point where we have anxiety, thinking we have to get our blood pressure taken,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of going to lead us into our conversation today about
Yeah.
self advocacy,
Yeah.
right? We advocate
Yeah.
for us. So,
And that's it.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's a good part of it. Like you said, like some people don't know how to express the pain in their arms. So when you're taking that blood pressure, I mean, I've watched, they try to be brave and they sit through it. And you can tell, like, what's wrong? Like, I was like, are you okay? And was like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. That hurts so bad. Please take it off. I'm like, oh my God. All you have to do is just like, let me know beforehand. And then that way it's other ways to take your blood pressure. I don't have to take it on your arm per se. I can take it
Right.
on your wrist, or I can take it manually when you tell
Or,
me it's too much. Yeah.
or on
Yeah.
the forearm
On the
with
forearm.
with the regular cuff,
Yes. Yes.
right? They don't
Yeah.
have to have a special wrist cuff. They can use the regular
They
cuff
can
on
use
your
either one. Yeah, they can use
cuff.
either one. We had both. And depending on, where they were comfortable, that's where we took it. But yeah, the absolutely self efficacy is so important. Sharing with lipedema and lymphedema, or any other, situation that you have going on. If you have to speak up and tell somebody what's going on with you, and what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate, to help them understand. And then you can even give them information about
Right,
what you have, so that you bring awareness to um, the staff as well as the provider.
right. And Lipedema Simplified does have a document. It's a brochure that is called Pain Free Blood Pressure for
Mm-hmm.
lipedema patients, and
Mm-hmm.
it was written by um, one of our coaches, Carrie Reedy,
Mm-hmm.
and another person, another coach at the time, and we use that, and you can print it out and send it to or take it to your care provider. Keep it with you, because one of the things
Yes.
that we find is if you have information in your hand, or if you have links that you can take to your provider, your care provider, um, it helps them to understand. It is now it's on them to read it. It's on
Right.
them to educate themselves. But if they are
Mm-hmm.
not aware of the situation that they need to educate themselves about, sometimes that's on us to make sure we're taking the best care of ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there was,
Yes.
yeah, there was a comment during our heart to heart in April, by one of the guest speakers, the one of the keynote speakers, and she said it's not our fault, but now that we know that, it's still our responsibility,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
it's our responsibility to take good care of ourselves. So,
Yeah.
and find that care. And sometimes it's not easy to do that.
No.
So, Sharon, you worked with a doctor in your area. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with lipedema before you came to Lipedema Simplified?
Yeah, sure. So before I worked with the provider that Dr. Nadeem Shapira from Delaware,
Mhm.
no, I didn't know anything about lipedema. He taught me everything that I know. I'm not telling you guys I'm a guru or anything, because I'm not. But just being his medical assistant and being in the office with him during these surgeries, and scheduling the surgeries, and talking to the insurance providers to get them to pay for, the procedures that he did. Um, it has been like a beautiful adventure for me, because, like I said, I knew nothing about lipedema at all, or lymphedema, or any of the varicose veins, any of the things that associated or brought patients to us, to Dr. Shapira, to be looked at or serviced, or even to confirm. And that was a lot of it, just not knowing what was going on with them, or not understanding why the weight won't go away, or why they're in pain, or why they're constantly, growing and growing. Certain, not all of their bodies, just certain parts. Some was just legs, some was just arms, some was both. But just being in that space to hear from the patients, and the doctor explaining every part of it and teaching me how to identify it, teaching me what it looks like, what it feels like, even to the point where he would have me nodules that were, under the skin. He would have me like massage them down and like slowly massage them down until they dissipated. And I was like, wow, I didn't not bring any pain. Of course, some places where you touch hurt, but it was a beautiful experience for me, just learning all of that from him. So
And
it's
that's
been.
amazing. And so you had this beautiful working relationship with a surgeon and
Mhm.
working with his patients, learning all about those of us with lipedema, not having lipedema yourself, but
No.
being that care provider, and working with other care providers. You discovered a lot about um, how to help people take better care of themselves and how to advocate for themselves. And like you said, you have to, although when you find a care provider who does understand, there's still some things you have to advocate for yourself about, right? And what kind of things would that be?
Well, again, what your pain points are when you're in the office with the provider. um truly being honest with the provider of what you're doing or not doing. I mean, having, I know with some patients, he kind of could tell when they weren't telling him the whole truth, and he didn't. It was like, I can't help you fully if I don't know the whole truth. So being very honest, even though it may be, even though if it brings a little embarrassment, or if it's something that you might think you're embarrassed about, because it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's not, again, like you said earlier, the it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But again, being very honest about what you are or are not doing, your pain points, what you have done, if anything, in the past to kind of help yourself, or what your vision is for your lifestyle, the quality of life that you want. I think those are the things that are most important, because that gives him a vision of where you want to be. And then that kind of helps him get to where you want, that desired outcome that you're looking for.
Yes, yes, and I know that what you mean about being a little embarrassed about it, because we are not used to having somebody look at our bodies and explore them in a way, palpate them. It can be very humiliating, embarrassing, emotionally charged. And yet, if we do advocate for ourselves, then we're actually advocating for others as well. And so
Mhm.
there's a level of calm going. If I explain what I'm dealing with, if I can be as honest as possible, then maybe someone else will get help because a doctor will see something new in what I'm dealing with. And it's not always easy because we feel like maybe we don't deserve to speak our whole truth, or possibly we don't even know that this is actually pain that I'm feeling. So we need to speak about everything that we're dealing with, and that is a part of advocating for other
Yeah.
lipedema patients as well as ourselves. So,
Yeah.
as
Do
go ahead.
do you find, as a lipedema patient, that your pain tolerance is high? Because I think sometimes you can't tell the pain. Like sometimes I might say it's a 10. You might say, no, that's just like a 4 to me, because I'm used to it.
Right. Well, I think sometimes we don't know what pain is,
No.
right? So when I first took the quiz that talked about pain, I had been grain free and keto, carnivore, fasting. I'd been doing that for a couple of years when I first found out I had lipedema. And so I took the
Mhm.
quiz, and they asked in the quiz that we have, um, it says, do you have pain? And I'm like, no. But did I have pain? Yes. But it was just, quote unquote, because I was fat. Do you know what I mean? So the whole time before I realized this was lipedema pain, I just thought it was because I was obese. I
Mm,
didn't realize that it was due to the type of fat and I didn't realize it was because of lipedema, because I didn't know it was that type of pain. And the type of pain I'm talking about is like my legs just get so tired and achy that I just assumed it was because I was fat. My legs would I'd feel I call it bone fatigue. Like my bones were just tired and
mm,
achy all down inside of me, right? I'd feel that.
mhm,
Or the kids would the kids would climb on my legs or my lap, and it was just excruciating. And I just thought, it's just the way I feel. I never really go, oh my gosh, why are my legs painful? I thought
mhm,
everybody couldn't handle their kids climbing on them. I just thought it was me. So when they finally said, do your legs hurt? And I'm like, I don't really have pain. And then as I started listening to other people talk about their pain, I thought, oh, I didn't even think I'd lost mobility. I had to crawl up the stairs in the house, the carpeted stairs, or hang on with both hands, and like I couldn't take groceries up the stairs. I have to put the groceries up 2 steps and climb up one step, one step, one step, one step. And then,
mhm,
I mean, but did I lack mobility? No. I mean,
mm,
it's so gradual, so normal. It's what I did because I
mhm.
was obese, not because something was wrong. I never knew. I never knew. And
Yeah.
I always want to ask people, how do you describe your pain? And
Mm,
sometimes my pain is just a heavy ache, but it's not like a 10. It's just a normal,
mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
What you've always considered normal, or you gave it your own definition of what, because this is my daily routine, or this is what I'm used to. In my mind, this is what I have to do to get to where I'm going. But like you said, I'm not thinking anything's wrong. This is just me being tired. I'm going to get up these steps however I can. And then, but when you found out, there's a reason why your legs are tired and your kids hurt when they climb up. You hurt when your kids climb up on your lap and your legs. Yeah.
right, right. Or like now, when the cat decides, I'm laying on my side and the cat decides to walk up my thigh. I'm like, but it used to be like, get off, cat. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I
Mm-hmm.
know why my cat wears stiletto heels. I mean, um,
It's cute, stiletto
and
heels.
yeah, I mean, it's like, oh my word. Oh,
Wow.
ice pickies. She has ice picks on her feet.
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh, wow.
and and yet I never thought about it. I used to tell my kids, I'm not a playground. I'm not carpet. Stop walking on me, because it was so painful. And yet my husband could have the kids climbing on him all the time and never feel the pain. And so I just could never figure that. I thought they were rougher with me than they were with him. I
Mm-hmm.
thought they were mean little kids. No, I thought they just had bony butts and bony feet, and that it was. I didn't realize it wasn't what everybody felt. I just thought I couldn't tolerate it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, it was great when I hear other people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
It it made me realize, oh, I do live that type of a life. I do have that type of pain. And so if I were to retake the quiz
Mm-hmm.
on our on the Lipedema Simplified website, if I took that quiz again, I would answer it totally different.
Different, totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because now you know where it comes from and why you have it. What it really is. It really is pain. It's just not you getting around and doing your best to tolerate what you're feeling or giving it a different definition or a different, you know, understanding in your head to kind of get you by that moment. So,
right, right. The other thing that was really interesting is, I've gained and lost over 1,000 pounds in my life. I'm old enough to have done that. It's called this,
the roller,
the roller
yeah,
coaster or the yo-yo weight loss, right?
yes, yes.
And um, and so when I was asked, did you gain weight during perimenopause? I thought, yeah, but not due to perimenopause. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was on the bottom of the roller coaster ride, right? And I needed to go back up. So I didn't think too much about that I was gaining weight during perimenopause.
Mm-hmm.
But so I said, yeah, no. So I wasn't being honest with myself.
Yeah,
So there was a
yeah.
level of honesty. I'm like, no, I'm just a roller coaster dieter, and I gain and lose and gain and lose and gain and lose and gain. I and so when I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, I did gain weight during perimenopause. And then I lost weight, and then you know, but it was so after perimenopause, it was slower and slower and slower, and the legs didn't lose weight after
Mm.
perimenopause. So, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm getting it now. So I think this knowledge from the community
Mhm.
is vital because it helps us. My story, I want to call her McMack attack. I think that's identifying with everything Gail's
Yeah.
expressing. So until we hear somebody else express it, sometimes we don't know that that's
No,
what we're dealing with.
yeah.
And
And
so,
that comes from, like, again, like we were saying, someone self advocated, someone advocated for themselves, gathered some information, shared it. Because when you're gathering information to what you're going through, it gives you kind of an excitement. Even that we talked about responsibility to share that information so that other people can be like, oh my god, that's what that is, like, oh yeah, wow, I can. And then they want to look more into it, and then they share, and then the other person shares. So, like, that's a connection, a community, which Lipedema had Simplify has built that connection where people can come and look and share things and talk about stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
it's a beautiful thing to look after yourself and be able to share your findings
right,
so that other people can get that clarity of what it is they're experiencing.
right. And even when you could be taking the best care of yourself that you can for that day, for that moment, and sometimes it doesn't feel like you're doing enough, right?
That's true.
And you
Yeah.
think, and you get down on yourself. You think, oh, I really should have pumped this morning. I'm not, or I should really get back in the routine of this. Or how can I, how can I feel comfortable advocating for myself when I'm not taking the best care of myself? And, I am not wearing my compression or not being quote unquote compliant. I mean, that's my term of compliant. When I think of the word compliant, it means like obedient. Oh, I hate that term. I'm not going to be obedient. By golly, I rebel. But we get to that feeling where it's like, if I took better care of myself, then I could promote that care to others. Then I could be the support to others. But what we forget is that when we might not feel like we're taking the best care of ourselves, other people are feeling that way too,
Mm.
right? They
Yeah.
need to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, people think I'm, God, I hope they don't, that I'm perfect, that I'm doing all these things. No, I'm here telling you I don't always take good care of myself, right? And every day is a fresh day for me.
Hmm.
Um, and I know that that's human,
That's
right?
human.
That's human. So being part of a community where you can say, I'm not taking care of myself. Someone smacked me alongside the head and make me do it. Who do I go to? Who do I help? Who do I talk to? And that's the thing about you, Sharon, as a health and wellness coach.
Yeah.
You're the person that if I'm not feeling like I'm just not taking as good a care of myself as I should, I need a little bit of support with that. I can turn to somebody like you.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people don't feel like, even dealing with lipedema, like you can't take a break from taking care of yourself.
Right.
And
Right.
honestly, you can take a break. You can take a break. It's okay. You can take a break because it's a lot to handle, and it's a lot of things that you have to maintain as you are taking care of yourself. But I found out, even for myself, it's okay to take a break because sometimes it may feel very, very overwhelming. And it's like you can either agree to take a break, or then when you do take a break, you feel like what you just said, like, I better get back to this because it's
Mhm.
not like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I don't feel like I'm doing what I should be doing, when actually all your body or your brain probably is telling you that it's okay, take a break today. You don't have to do that. If you don't pump today, pump tonight. If you
Yeah.
don't pump, if you don't do it during the day, or pump tomorrow. Not saying neglect yourself, but I think sometimes it's okay to just agree with yourself to take a break.
Yeah. And
Sometimes,
actually,
go ahead.
yeah, actually taking a break is taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we a lot. I've had comments sometimes that, man, lipedema is a full-time job. Well, you can burn out easily in a full-time job,
Yes.
and then you feel then there's a lot of shame and guilt,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And yet sometimes just taking a break or or consolidating or putting things in perspective is taking care of yourself.
It is.
And maybe, because I mean, I look at all the things that each one of us do every day. Sometimes just getting out of bed is a full time job, right? And getting dressed. I mean, I think of the compression. So you've got, you can do your quick dry brushing and put your compression on, and um, and then of course you immediately have to go to the bathroom because you've dry brushed and put your compression on, and then all that first morning routine that you do, and you think to
Mhm.
yourself, okay, it takes me an hour and a half to get around, and I've got a full time job I got to go to,
Mhm.
and I have a family, or
Mhm.
I just I just I'm tired by the time I get done. I got to take a nap now because I just took
Yeah.
care of myself, you know. And so it does seem overwhelming for
Yeah.
a lot of the those of us with lipedema, but so many of us, it's not just lipedema. There's so many other things that
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
to deal with, and
Along with that. Along with that.
right.
I,
And
I
so
know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. No.
And so we talk a lot about scheduled breaks, and value. Um, talk about what that means to the individual and how helpful that will be throughout the day. Some people are like, no, 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 I can't take a break. I have to do boom, 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 or I'll feel like out of sorts, or I'm out of place. I can't function if I'm not doing boom, 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 boom. Like everything that their morning routine, or whatever they're doing. And but s- talking about scheduled breaks, like say, why don't you know, if it's overwhelming, because some people it's not overwhelming, they just do it, not a second thought at all, this is just what I do. But somewhere in there in your day you're going to need a break from it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's once a week where you just say, okay, today I'm just going to relax, I'm not even going to do all that, I'm not even going to follow my routine today, I'm going to give myself a break.
Right.
And
Right.
just learning how to just like we always say, give yourself grace and try to find a different way. Because as someone said in one of our C6, like, I have lipedema, but lipedema do not have me. And so
That's
when
right.
you're, and that's a part of you, you know, that different perspective, right? And giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself, like, you know, that's a great way to look at it. Now let's see what does that really mean, and how
Right.
does that really look in your everyday routine, and you having the best quality of life in your mind, body, and spirit, right? And how you're
Right.
doing in your well-being, your total
Yeah.
well-being. So
Exactly. Exactly. And I want to bring up another question from McMack Attack. I love the name. I have to, I just, maybe that's why I keep bringing it. She says, I know I've got lipedema, but I feel overwhelmed on how to take those first steps to deal with it. It seems like a hopeless condition. And I want to tell you, it does. When you first find out about it, you haven't taken steps, it does feel overwhelming. Um, and so, a lot of times with people who are first diagnosed with lipedema, they have two different, I shouldn't say two, there's probably 1,000 different responses, but we hear a couple of responses. And one of those responses is denial. I went into denial. Nope, that's it. Nope, not going to listen. It's not going to be there. And then, as I continue, and I started like lurking around, going, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And then when I talked to Catherine Seo, the first time when I was absolutely first able to talk to somebody with lipedema, like on the phone, this person knows all about it and everything. I spent 20 minutes crying with her because it was like, oh my gosh, someone finally heard me. So the first thing I had to do, my first response after the denial was lurking around, trying to find out what it was, right? Trying to see if I could be knowledgeable about it, trying to see if I could handle something. And then when I signed up for a consultation, and Catherine called me and confirmed that, there are things I could do. And the first step is to pick one thing, focus on it. But she heard me. And no one in my world, my circle, could
mhm,
hear what I was saying because they couldn't fathom it.
right.
It didn't make sense to them. And but she experienced what I experienced. She told me, "Yes, you're on the right track." And
Mhm,
it was overwhelming to me, of
mhm,
emotionally overwhelming, that somebody actually knew I was told me could she gave me that affirmation that I wasn't a lunatic.
right.
Right?
Right. Right.
And told me, "Take what is one thing you can commit to today?" That's my first step. And all I could really commit to at that one day was to watch another webinar
Mhm,
and learn more. That's all I could do. But that was my first step in taking care of myself, is watching another webinar, right? Because we do
yes.
have so many free webinars.
Yes.
And I'm going to say right here from Sing It, which I'm so glad you're here, and I have gotten to meet her, which is pretty cool, online. But Sing It said she was angry that she would probably not be the body in her mind. See, was angry that I probably will not be the body that she had in her mind,
Mhm,
but then having to learn to love and care for what I've got. So she had anger,
mhm,
but, and some people have. despair. And now what I'm finding is 4 years in, I have a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
I celebrate that I've had lipedema for 4 years. I've had lipedema a lot longer than 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I've celebrated that I've known and I've been able to work on it and I've been able to make improvements and I've been able to live better and better. I've been able to live in wellness with my lipedema. And amazing as it sounds, I've just this year I realized that I really care deeply for my body. I love my body. I'm no longer embarrassed about my body. I'm no longer ashamed that this is the body I ended up with. And I don't know how that happened, except possibly
Mm-hmm.
by learning to take care of it, her,
Mm-hmm.
learning to take care of her, sharing her with the world. I don't know how it happened, but I do know I don't cry myself to sleep at night anymore. You know, hello, you. I'm here with you. You're my friend. I'm your friend. I don't know if it's that, but I do care deeply for my body. But it's taken a long time.
It is a process. I believe it is a process. And just like you said, just taking one thing, because you can't work on everything at one time, but taking
Yeah,
one thing, focusing on that one thing. Once you've got that thing, pretty good, or you feel like you can handle that, or you understand that a little better, then you take on the next thing, or
yeah,
whatever that is that you may want to work on, or get more information about, or you know, um, or focus on one thing at a
yeah.
time.
One thing at a
Yeah.
time. And Sharon, I do want to share your email address with you. And as you, because you help our community learn to focus on one thing. You learn to find the direction they want to take their wellness program. Um, you are their cheerleader. You will coach them in finding the direction that they want to go. So I want to share your email with our guests tonight. And if you're finding this in a replay, it's Sharon at lipedema-simplified.org. I'm going to put that um, link, that Sharon's email in the chat so that you can email her, reach out to her, maybe discover that she is the type of coach you want um, to work with you, to cheer you on, to help you find the direction that you're going to take your life in. Maybe but you need that extra support to keep going in the direction you want to go. Um, Maybe if you feel a little burned out, you want that extra, want someone to hold your hand for a little bit. Sharon's your hand holder, you know. And so yes, she holds my hand. I go see her sometimes too. Hey Sharon, we visit. So it's a wonderful thing. And then the other thing I want to share is, we've been seeing it says, "Hi Sharon, I'm really late to the party."
Thank you.
Oh, it's okay. Um, we all show up. We all get to the party when we can get to the party, and then we dance until they kick us out.
Yeah. Until they kick us out. Time to go.
Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That line.
Um, but we're going to be here until we're not. But the other thing that I want to share with our community is something that's we've been talking about finding out we have lipedema, sharing it with others. We have this amazing month in June coming up. It's Lipedema Awareness Month. There's going to be stuff all over the internet. You will find it all over social media.
Yes.
But will you find somewhere in person to go hang out with other people who have lipedema?
Hmm.
Yes, you will.
You
Because
will.
you will, because we have we Lipedema Simplified has heart guides. These are women who bring their hearts to the table with
Hmm.
you in person. small gatherings. The first one that's going to happen is in Boston, Massachusetts, with
Um,
Catherine, the original heart guide, Dr. Catherine Sayo. She is hosting one with a community member, Deb Jersick. They are going to host one in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right there in the Boston area. It's on the 2nd of June. So if you're in that area at all, go ahead and click on that. Now, I'm holding one in Boise, Idaho, on the 8th of June. You could meet me. I've had two people sign up so far. So you sign up if you're anywhere near me. Or if you're in Nashville, there's one going to be held in Nashville on the 8th of June. So if you look at this and you find one that's close to you, sign up. But what if there isn't one close to you? You can host one.
oh,
You can host one. And just contact us at support@lipedema-simplified.org and say, hey, Isla, or hey, Catherine, I want to host one. How easy is it to host? Well, let's see. This is my second one. We did this last year as well. And all I did is said, let's see, that little restaurant there has a really nice outdoor patio. So I found a space that people could come into. Now, I wanted an outdoor patio because I live in Boise, Idaho, and the weather is beautiful in June. It's not too hot,
mhm,
it's not too cold. It might be this year, but it's not too hot and it's not too cold. We'll go outside, we'll sit around a table, it'll be lovely. Now, some of us want
right.
to eat on the inside, so we find a restaurant or some type of a space that's not going to cost us money because it's not going to cost you money to do this. You just want a space, um, and then you say this is the date, this is the
Mhm,
time, and this is the
mhm,
place, and you show up. And but you give those date, time, and place to us, and we'll put
mhm.
it out in emails. We'll put it on the calendar so people can just click
Oh,
and sign up. So Lisa Dury and her manual lymphatic therapist, Christy King, are hosting
mhm,
one in Christy's office space and her waiting room space. So
mhm.
they're hosting one there, and that's in the Portland area, Beaverton, Oregon, right?
Oh,
And so we have them happening. We have them going on. There's going to be one in the Fort Lauderdale area, and in North Carolina, I think in the Durham area, there's going to be one. So we are really hoping that all of you decide, you know what, I want to host one of these. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching it as a replay, think about it. Would you host one? Oh, here's another one. There's going to be one in Boulder, Colorado, hosted by the lovely Siobhan Huggins. So,
oh,
right? And we already have people signing up for that. It is going to be this wonderful thing. I mean, a host doesn't have to teach anything. A host doesn't have to do anything except find the place, the time, and the day. Make sure it has parking, make sure it has spaces for people like us to sit comfortably, make sure it has easy accessibility, and then just you're there and holding the door open and holding a space for other community members. And that's how you host an event. There's no money involved. Everybody pays if they're going to have a tea party. Everybody pays for their own tea or whatever it is. All you have to do is
oh.
find a place and space and time, and then send it, and then tell Isla at support@lipedema-simplified.org, and she'll put you on the calendar. So it's very simple.
That is very.
Um, and if you don't want to do it, and if you don't want to do it by yourself, I'd love to co-host one in this space. Is there anybody out there who wants to co-host one with me? And um, Tammy Tamara asks, for how long? So I'm going to do it for 2 hours, but I do have to share something with you. Sometimes people don't go away. Once you get talking, you stay forever, right? Found you found your tribe, you found your circle of friends.
Yeah.
So some people say, okay, I'll do 90 minutes, or I'll do 2 hours, maybe even an hour. You're just gonna sit and visit for an hour,
Hmm.
but you'll find that it does. Um, oh, this is what Tamara says. That's all good. Just want to know, wondering how long to reserve for. Yeah, you would reserve a space for, I'd say, give your attendees, people who would show up, give them maybe 15 minutes to come in. So if you have 2 hours, or 3 hours or whatever, you can hold it for that length of time, making sure there's gathering time and departing time, and that enough time to talk and visit. So I would say 2 hours to 3 hours, reserve the space for the and the spaces can be really different. So Catherine's holding hers at a Panera. Panera will actually, if someone wants to eat there, Panera will make like a chicken salad, and just chicken salad by the scoop, or tuna salad by the scoop, or whatever. It doesn't have, you don't have to eat all the breads and stuff like that if you don't eat, if you're low carb. The space that I am is actually at a bakery, and they serve coffee and tea and water. And since I'm sitting outside, I'm not wasting their table space, or anything like that. So we've just discovered that there are little locations that are comfortable, you
Hmm.
know, for the community to come into, and so and you might only get 2 or 3 people, or you might be like Siobhan and get 17. You never know. You never know. It just depends on your location. Once you get your location set and you get it put on the calendar, somebody registers for that, you get their email and their phone number so that you can send them a message. It's pretty cool. It's a fun little event, and that's the way we can advocate for ourselves. And I've done all the talking, Sharon. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
But
You're fine.
I'm going to
It's
drop those links into the chat as well. So, Sharon, thank you for letting me. Um, what does this say?
I gotta check and see if it's anything for Delaware.
You do, or maybe you have to host one. I have reached out to our local hospital to partner with me with snacks and advertising. Would you suggest to have it at a restaurant instead? No, no. You find your space. If your local hospital has a conference room, which many of them do, have a event room or a conference room, or there, or maybe they have like a cafeteria area. Yeah, do it
That'd be
there.
perfect. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, it'd be great, and it really makes them um pay attention too, right? So yeah, no, just an easy space is perfect. So thank
Yes.
you for that question. Right, I use a restaurant because I happen to know the bakery owner. So I'm like, hey, Mandy, can I use your balcony? Can I use your patio again this year? So, like Christy King is and Lisa are doing it in a waiting room of Christy's office,
Hmm.
Christy's clinic. So, you have this, you have, just make sure it's good seating, good parking, and easy access for those with mobility needs, and enjoy, right? And that you have that space to meet in. So with that, let me put the links in the chat, because I've talked about it, but I didn't get the links in the chat because I was too busy chattering. So so with that, um, Sharon,
Yes.
um, would you like to talk about anything else before we end? Because
Um, just encouraging, like, all of our lipedema ladies. That's why I call you guys my lipedema ladies, and lipedema community. Just, stay encouraged. As we said, as Gail said, mentioned, just, taking one thing at a time, making sure you advocate for yourself. If it's something that you don't know or something you do not understand, do not be embarrassed to reach out to someone who do know, or um, just reach out to anybody, that you're confident or comfortable with, not just anybody, people that you're comfortable with, and people that have knowledge of what it is that you're going through that you may not really understand. So, again, give yourself grace. And for those of you who's been doing this for a while, like Gail, she knows to, give herself a break when she needs it, and don't be down on yourself and thinking that you're doing something wrong. All the things that you're doing for yourself, you're doing it right, and you're caring for yourself, which is the right thing to do. So just stay encouraged. Keep your hopes up. Keep your faith up. It's not hopeless. It's just learning how to take care of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful, Sharon. Thank you so much. And if you want to reach out to Sharon, make sure you reach out to her at Sharon at lipedema-simplified.org. And with that, Sharon, I always ask my guests, and you know this after being my guest several times, um, if there is one message that you would like to have echoed around the world, what would that be?
Echoed around the world. I don't know why that sounds so scary tonight. I don't know. Oh my gosh. What would that be? Um, I guess it would just to be know that you are loved. Um, and whatever you're going through, if even it may look big right now, but nothing's bigger than our Creator. So know that you are loved.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, it can look pretty big, but we have strength, don't we? We
Yeah,
have strength and we have love. So,
yeah,
Sharon, thank you so much for coming on with me tonight, and all of our guests. Thank you for being here to share this time with me and Sharon. Um, we really appreciate that you're out there asking questions and spreading the word about lipedema, sharing your love and sharing your story. And with that, we're going to close for now. I hope to see some of you at the heart to heart circles that we're going to do in June. And with that, have
yeah.
a wonderful night, everybody.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night.